movements and training. This is amazing, a 40-pound vest. I can only imagine if it was 100 pounds, but it makes me want to do some movements and training.
What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Mark Tibbs. Mark Tibbs confident that he can raise the game of Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois announced last week that he will be trained by Mark Tibbs moving forward. He still has management contract with the former coach Martin Bowers, but has opted for a fresh start after the first loss of his professional career against Joe Joyce last November. Joyce is likely moving on to a big fight with Alexander Usyk while Dubois begins to rebuild his career. Speaking of Fuerteventura, where he's working with Billy Joe Saunders, Tibbs said he was excited at the prospect of training Dubois and that he has unfinished business at the heavyweight following a split with contender Dillian Whyte last year. Quote, "I believe I can bring something to Daniel's game," said Tibbs. "I can add some seasoning to his game and make him a different fighter. If I'm confident in that, and it won't take too long. I'm confident in that, and it won't take too long." Okay, Tibbs and Dubois have yet to have a session together, and they haven't seen one another in around a year. But before Tibbs was training his fighter at the Peacock Gym where Dubois was working with Bowers, Tibbs and his family go back years with the Bowers family when Mark was a teenager, so there's no issue between them. "I go back with Martin since I was about 15 and 16 years old," Tibbs said. Tibbs' father, Jimmy, is also going to be involved with Dubois. Jimmy Tibbs is one of the great UK trainers and worked with former heavyweights King Frank Bruno. And everybody knows Frank Bruno and the relationship with Daniel Dubois. He worked closely with Daniel Dubois. He was more like a mentor of Daniel Dubois. So that shouldn't be an issue. "There's no point in him fighting in April, as per initial discussion," Tibbs added, "especially after the injury he suffered and sustained. It's my responsibility to bond with him, see where he is psychologically before I can move forward with him, so I plan to get him on my trip to America for Canelo Saunders, and hopefully I'll be able to work with him in my spare time. I've still got to clear that with Billy Joe, but that's my plan. We're still in negotiations. We're still negotiating bits and pieces." So, Daniel Dubois, Mr. Tibbs, Okay, Mark Tibbs and Daniel Dubois. I think that Mark Tibbs would be a lot better than Mr. Bowers. There, I said it. Mr. Bowers was terrible. I don't know if it's the chemistry, but what I heard between him, Dubois, meaning, and Mr. Bowers, it was almost like giving somebody a pep talk when he should have been giving them instructions. I don't think that's something that Dubois needed at the time. I think he needed strategy. I think he needed guidance. I don't think he needed pep talks. I don't think he needed what he told Daniel Dubois. "Oh, we're in the fight. This is what it is." That's not helping Daniel Dubois. That's not helping him. That's not stopping him from getting popped in the face with the jab, okay, and his eye constantly swelling the way it was, and he was looking like Kermit the Frog. It wasn't that case, okay? So the case being with Mark Tibbs, can he teach this guy what he needs? So if he does get himself in a situation with someone that has a relentless jab that he can't just knock out in 1 to 2 rounds, could he improve this guy? That's the question you ask yourself. If he can't do that, he's not doing him any good, okay? I think Daniel Dubois got comfortable. I think he got comfortable, and I think his corner got comfortable. They were comfortable with his progress, but really wasn't working on his flaws. Okay, that's one thing to be good at something, but you can't praise all the time what a person's good at without looking at the weak points. And that was the problem with Daniel Dubois. That's why I picked Joe Joyce over Daniel Dubois, if you guys can remember, okay? My prediction video, I called it. Joe Joyce will beat Daniel Dubois. Experience. Daniel Dubois has been in, what, 13, 14 fights? Look how many of those first or second round knockouts did he have? 10, 11? Okay, that's like 85% of the fights, 90% of the fights that he had were by first round and second round knockout. It's kind of hard to learn anything. So at that point, it's hard to really praise someone like Daniel Dubois because he's knocking everybody out. But these guys that he's knocking out, sure, he fought Garmin and beat him. He was something of a name, okay? But other fights, when he did move up in competition, he got touched a bit. He did get touched a bit. Okay, so it's one of these things where Mark Tibbs has to come in and I think start this guy off and start from the beginning because he doesn't know what he knows and what he doesn't know. I don't think that it's a bad choice. I think the energy that Mark Tibbs wanted to give someone like Dillian Whyte when he wasn't in the corner with Dillian Whyte, when Dillian Whyte took on Alexander Povetkin, I think he can pour that into Dubois. That's what I believe. And again, it's a good move. Any fresh start is better than what he had. Okay, so that's my counterpunch on that. You guys tell me what you think about Mark Tibbs thinking that he would give him more seasoning and can step up his game. Before I leave, though, I want to add this. I also want to agree with Mark Tibbs. Daniel Dubois needs to take more time. I don't think he needs to come back in April either. So I do agree with that. He needs to stick it out to see how that eye goes. At least let him spar some. Let him see how that eye reacts from getting hit with that eye. Especially, at least with headgear on. Because you don't know what type of retina damage, nerve damage. Those are very, very tedious and very delicate endings. Nerves are very, very delicate. So I would love to see him take his time, okay? Not like Ruiz time, and Ruiz didn't even have an injury. He's just taking his time losing weight. I mean, take his time to properly know where he's at. But anyway, tell me what you think. Please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.